I get into trouble down there, you make every shot count.
Last of Us Remake is a perfect example of how much a game story is important. Think about this. Even though graphics and visuals are better in the second part, players still always talk about the first Last of Us. So having a good story overshadows all the other aspects of a game. The relationship development between the two main characters in this game is really touching. I honestly admired everything after finishing the game. There's also one feature that I'd like to point out, which not a lot of players mention, is that the game takes you into several different areas or locations throughout your playthroughs, such as the suburbs, sewers, snowy areas, jungles, and much more. All this traveling gives a beautiful, immersive feeling, and the relation between Joel and Ellie is a cherry on top. The gameplay and combat deserve a lot of credit, as it's neither too much nor too little. There's a fair amount of combat in the first part, which also provides a sense of realism. Multiple weapons and different ways to kill enemies makes the game engaging. You can switch between complete stealth mode or straight up guns blazing.
Mark. Relax. Do not think of it as an animal. It is simply a target. Clear your mind.
God of War. Now, how many of you remember the hype around this game? Tell me about your favorite memories from God of War series. The 2018 installment acted as a reboot for the original God of War series. I really like the idea that new-gen fans will also be able to enjoy the game on modern consoles. The story was perfect, as it takes the players through distinct landscapes, while showing the relation between father and son. It was also great to see Atreus' reactions after seeing how famous his father actually is. The best way to describe the importance of God of War 2018 is that fans have gotten a new game in the series after a long time. This majorly affected the sales along with all the new content and insane graphics that the game provided.
Hey, Mildef. I took some of your stew last time I went into the wilds. Kept me going for a week.
Horizon Zero Dawn, the game comes up in almost every top 10 list, whether it be good graphics, best visuals, or gameplay, and overall, the storyline. I remember when the game first came out, I never thought that it will be able to gain such recognition. Horizon also managed to get a sequel faster than other games, and even the sequel titled as Forbidden West is well made. If you want something more of a big, stunning open world with breathtaking visuals and a touch of sci-fi enemies, then Horizon will be your prime choice. I'm not a very big fan of futuristic sci-fi genre, but this game combined all the features and made me feel like that I'm in a fantasy open world. The main story is well made, and there are no major plot twists. It's much rather that you gradually understand the story and pick up the pieces in your playthrough. Final Fantasy VII. Ryogi fans will say that I'm wrong to choose the 7th installment from the series for the best story ever. I only played a few Final Fantasy games, so I may not have a perfect idea about which one has the best storyline, though in my opinion, Final Fantasy VII has all the classic characters such as Cloud, Tifa, and Sephiroth. Also, the overall gameplay, action and semi-open world is better in this game. A newest remake increases the importance of the 7th part in the series. It shows how great Final Fantasy VII was. The main story is more of an uproar against the villains. Let's just say a battle to reclaim freedom. Sephiroth also acts as an iconic villain. I believe that the 7th installment will be a great choice to get into the series. The newest remakes enhanced all the visuals, details, and graphics. New gen fans will also be able to experience the classic series in the modern consoles, even on 5. Low-key, you can also try the 15th part, as it also features a mesmerizing open world. If only the developers start to publish remakes of all the best Final Fantasy games, it would be life-changing.
Yeah, Merc.
Plague Tale: Innocence. What a surprise this game was. Plague Tale is a game that is only for story-loving and immersive environment fans. There is not much intense action, but the game is rather slow-paced and more stealth-focused. A highlight is the relationship between the two main characters and how realistic killing feels in the game. Unlike other games where you can get guns and swords in Plague Tale, you mostly must rely on stones, takedowns, slingshot, and environment traps. Also, a not-so-turn-based feature deserves credits too, as the game lets you play as little kid to sometimes solve puzzles or make way to progress further. If you can make peace with the slow-paced, more realistic stealth-focused game, then don't look further, as Plague Tale: Innocence will be a decent choice. There's also a recently released sequel which improves upon the first installment. Nevertheless, story-wise, this game is at its peak.
One of us is going to die. What's the matter? Scared of killing someone all of a sudden?
Until Dawn. This game was well made, despite being an early PS4 game. The only downsides are the dialogues, which could have been better. They are not that bad, but at the same time, not good either. Another issue is that the characters need extra rework. Despite all this, Until Dawn is one of the best horror games of 2015. It also gives a hard time to some of the recent horror games. This one is not like Resident Evil kind of action gameplay, but it's a rather choice-based game. All your decisions and choices sometimes have instant impact. Unlike other choice-based games, you can say that it's a flawed but a fun experience game. The story can be considered as 50-50. I only wanted to mention this as a lot of us are still sleeping on this horror game. The best thing about this is that it always keeps you on your toes, because any character can die at any moment without warning. There's also a ridiculous amount of gory death scene, such as dismembered body parts, completely snapped jaws, blood decapitations, and much more. In short, Until Dawn will be an amazing horror experience.
Okay.
Uncharted 4, my first introduction to the Uncharted series without a doubt. I can say that if you haven't played this one, then you're missing out on a lot of cool stuff. Uncharted 4 gives a true sense of adventure. The game perfectly depicts what it means to find hidden treasures and what kind of problems the seekers may encounter. I'm not going to say much about the graphics because I have already talked about them in another video. In my opinion, unlike other games or companies, Uncharted 4 was the best ending or tribute to Nathan Drake's journey. I'm glad that Naughty Dog ended Nate's story with the fourth installment, but I don't want the Uncharted series to end as a whole. But anyways, the multiple areas such as islands, jungles, towns, mansions, all these made the gamers feel like adventurers and gave them a feeling that they're looking for hidden treasures while going from one clue to another. There are also some well-written characters in the game. This is one of those rare game series where every game is just perfect. Now I just want Naughty Dog to release the Nathan Drake collection on PC too. It was weird to just directly port the last part instead of going in a chronological order.
Oh shit! Got him! I'm steady! Come here, you!
Batman Arkham Knight. Arkham City and Arkham Knight are the only two best games in the series. Both games mark a specific era for the Batman games. Arkham Knight acted as a well-made final ending to the iconic series. Besides having a cool story, the game is significantly improved in terms of graphics and world design. Having a Batmobile is a dream for players like me. Summary of the story will be that after the events of Arkham City, Gotham finds itself under the grip of a vengeful scarecrow as he tries to dismantle Batman's image. The overall combat, stealth, and gliding mechanics have helped elevate the series throughout its run. Arkham Knight is a dramatic finale and an explosive finish to a beloved series, there could be a chance that the developers will decide to make a new Batman game. But it will only be possible if they are running out of money, because these days a lot of new DC superheroes are coming up. Resident Evil 4. This one is much better than Resident Evil 2. The fourth installment was a complete change for the franchise. Several new mechanics were introduced in the game. Up until the fourth part, the Resident Evil series was mostly about stealth, horror, and puzzles. But this time, the developers focused more on the action combat part, and truthfully, it did remarkably well. The game provided the fans with a balanced experience of combat and spooky environments. Resident Evil 4 is my favorite game from the franchise. Leon is a well-written protagonist, and that's the only reason you need to consider playing Resident Evil series. The eighth part may be graphically well made, but it's the original fan-favorite main character that counts. The all-out action in this game felt really satisfying. The blend of horror and spooky environments, along with the thrill of blasting zombies' heads, was an intense experience. On my list is Yakuza 0, a game I really love. It has an awesome story, great combat, a world that pulls you in, and characters with deep stories. It starts off slow, but once you meet the main bad guys, things really get going. If you like anime and crime stories, you'll love Yakuza 0. I give it a 9 out of 10 because it's so fun and has lots of cool moments. Even though the map is a bit small, it's packed with fun stuff to do. You can race toy cars, sing and dance in rhythm games, run a cabaret club, and manage a business. There are also many different side missions, like helping a girl escape from a cult or teaching a dominant how to be better at her job. The game is full of activities, and each one is well made. The developers really thought about every part of this game. Yakuza 0 isn't just fun to play.